Have you ever found yourself wondering, where did my energy go? Maybe you used to wake up excited for the day, but now it feels like you're just going through the motions. And sure, age brings its changes, but that doesn't mean you have to lose your spark. In fact, there are people well into their 70s, 80s, even 90s, who still light up a room. They're full of life, curiosity, and this quiet kind of strength that makes you stop and think, how do they do it? Well, that's what we're talking about today. Because the truth is, there are real habits and mindsets that help certain people stay energized, joyful, and inspired, no matter their age. And the best part? These aren't mysterious secrets reserved for the lucky few. They're simple, practical shifts that anyone can make. That you can make. Starting right now. In this video, we're going to go over 5 powerful yet doable habits that help seniors stay sharp, motivated, and full of life. These aren't quick fixes or unrealistic routines. They're real things you can begin to apply to your daily life, one step at a time. And I promise, even the smallest change can reignite that fire inside. So, let's talk about the first one, because it might surprise you. It's this. They keep something to look forward to. Now I know, that sounds basic, but think about it. How many people wake up without a reason to get excited? When you don't have anything planned or any small joys ahead, the days can start blending together. That's when the spark begins to fade. But those who stay vibrant, well into their later years, they make sure there's always something on the horizon. It doesn't have to be a big trip or a grand project. Sometimes it's something as simple as lunch with a friend, planting new flowers in the garden, or reading a book they've been saving for a quiet Sunday. It's about purpose. Even if you're retired, even if the kids are grown and gone, you still need a reason to wake up feeling like the day matters. That could be a creative project, volunteering once a week, joining a local club, or even learning something new online. And no, it's never too late to start something new. Seniors who never lose their spark are curious by nature. They feed their sense of wonder and stay connected to what brings them joy. So if it's been a while since you felt excited about something, ask yourself, what could I plan this week that would make me feel alive again? What's something I used to love that I've put on the shelf for too long? Start there. Now let's talk about the second secret, and this one might be even more important. They stay connected to others, but they're also selective. You know that saying, you become like the people you spend the most time with? Well, it doesn't stop being true after 60. In fact, it becomes even more important. People who keep their spark don't just surround themselves with anyone. They choose to spend time with those who uplift, energize, and inspire them. That might mean close friends, supportive family, or even meeting new people who share the same interests or values. But here's the thing. They also learn to let go of toxic energy. You know the kind I'm talking about. Those draining conversations, the people who only complain, or those who make you feel like you're constantly defending your choices or your worth. It's exhausting, and that kind of emotional weight takes a serious toll on your vitality. So what do the spark keepers do? They create boundaries. They limit their exposure to negativity, and they lean into relationships that feel good. That could mean calling a friend who always makes them laugh, joining a walking group in the neighborhood, or even just chatting with someone friendly at the grocery store. Human connection matters. It fuels our spirits. It keeps us from withdrawing into ourselves. And seniors who stay joyful know that connection isn't just about avoiding loneliness. It's about choosing joy through others. If you've felt disconnected lately, it's not too late to rebuild those bridges. Reach out. Even a short message or a quick check-in can start something meaningful. And if you feel like you don't have those people right now, consider this. They might be out there, waiting for you, just as eager to connect. Now, there's one more thing I want to share in this part of the video, because it's something I've seen make a huge difference in the lives of older adults who seem to glow from the inside out. They move every single day with intention. Notice I didn't say they run marathons or spend hours in the gym. It's not about pushing the body to its limits. It's about honoring the body, keeping it in motion, keeping it alive. Seniors who keep their energy don't let themselves sit still for too long. They stretch in the morning. They take walks outside. They dance in the kitchen while waiting for the kettle to boil. They do gentle exercises, yoga, tai chi, whatever fits their rhythm. Movement isn't just about physical strength. It clears the mind. It lifts the mood. It creates momentum, and momentum creates motivation. Even just 10 to 15 minutes a day can create a ripple effect that touches every part of your life. Your sleep improves, your digestion improves, your posture changes, and so does your confidence. If movement feels like a chore, try changing the story around it. Think of it as your personal tune-up, your daily act of self-respect. A moment of gratitude for your body and everything it's carried you through. You deserve to feel light in your steps and proud of how you treat yourself. So now that we've talked about keeping something to look forward to, surrounding yourself with uplifting people, and moving your body with intention, let's keep going. Because there's more to this spark than just routine. It's also about how we see ourselves and how we treat the world around us. Because the way we see ourselves and the way we carry ourselves through the world can either dim our light or make it shine brighter. One thing I've noticed in people who never seem to lose their spark is this. They speak kindly to themselves. It's almost like they've made peace with who they are. They're not trying to look 20 again or chase impossible goals. They're not obsessed with the past or beating themselves up over what they didn't do. Instead, they've embraced the life they do have. And that brings us to another powerful secret they live by. They practice self-respect through self-talk. You see, what you say to yourself matters a lot. It shapes the way you feel, the choices you make, and even how your body responds to stress and energy. Seniors who stay joyful and energetic don't let that little voice in their head tear them down all day. They choose to speak with encouragement, with grace, and sometimes with a good sense of humor. They might wake up and say, "Okay, knees, let's work together today." Or look in the mirror and say, "I may not be 40, but I've earned every line on this face, and I still look pretty good." And when they mess up or forget something, they don't spiral into shame. They chuckle. They move on. That kind of inner kindness builds emotional resilience. It keeps bitterness from taking root. And let's be honest, life throws a lot at us as we age. We lose people. We deal with health challenges. We face change in ways that aren't always easy. But how we respond to those moments, that's what shapes the spark. That's what determines whether it fades or keeps glowing. If you've been hard on yourself lately, it might be time to change the tone of the conversation inside your head. Try talking to yourself the way you would talk to someone you love. It might feel strange at first, but over time, that voice becomes your companion, not your critic. And that makes every part of life a little lighter. Now there's one more piece to this puzzle that we need to talk about. And I'd say it might be the most underestimated one of all. It's something simple, but incredibly powerful. They stay curious. Think about a child, always asking questions, always exploring. That's curiosity. And while a lot of people lose it as they age, those who keep their spark protect it like a treasure. They don't let the world get dull. They're always learning, always discovering something new, even if it's just a different route on their daily walk or a new recipe for dinner. They ask questions like, "What if I tried painting?" Or, "What's this bird I keep seeing in the backyard?" Or, "Could I learn how to play that song on the piano?" And it's not about being perfect or impressing anyone. It's about engagement, staying mentally and emotionally alive. Because when we stop being curious, life starts to shrink. It becomes predictable, repetitive, flat. But when we stay curious, life expands, even in our 70s, 80s, and beyond. I once met a woman in her 80s who decided to learn how to speak Italian, just because she liked the way it sounded. She practiced every morning for 15 minutes while sipping her coffee. She said it made her feel like her brain was dancing, And that energy? You could feel it in every conversation she had. She wasn't trying to be impressive. She was just feeding her own fire. So what are you curious about? Maybe it's something you never had time for when you were younger. Maybe it's something small, like how to use your phone better, or how to care for a new kind of plant. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that it makes you feel alive. And if you've ever said, "I'm too old for that," I want you to know something. You're not. You're not too old to grow. You're not too old to start. You're not too old to be amazed. Now think about everything we've touched on so far. Finding something to look forward to. Choosing who you spend time with. Moving your body with care. Speaking to yourself with respect. And keeping that spark of curiosity alive. The seniors who never lose their spark? They're not superhuman. They're simply intentional. They choose joy. They make space for it. And they protect it from the things that try to wear it down. Stress, loneliness, self-doubt, regret, and maybe you're sitting there thinking, "I wish I had started sooner," or "It's too late for me." But the truth is, it's never too late to spark something new inside of you. Even one small change, one tiny habit, can start a ripple that changes everything. So if today is the day you decide to move your body a little more, or be kinder to yourself, or finally pick up that hobby you've been putting off, celebrate it. That's the spark in action. That's how it begins. And as that spark begins to grow, something incredible happens. You stop merely existing and start living again. Not in the same way you did decades ago, but in a way that's grounded, wise, and full of meaning. And this brings us to one final truth about those who never seem to lose their light. They give more than they take. Now, this might not sound like a secret at first. You've probably spent a lifetime giving to your children, to your job, to your community. But there's a difference between obligation and offering. The seniors who stay energized and joyful, they give from a place of abundance, not duty. They give because it brings them joy, because it adds purpose to their days, and because they know that when you stop focusing solely on yourself, the world opens up again. It doesn't have to be grand. It might be something as simple as checking in on a neighbor, baking muffins for a friend, mentoring someone younger, or sharing your story with someone who needs to hear it. It could be volunteering an hour a week at the local shelter or library. Or just being that warm, welcoming presence that others naturally gravitate toward. When you give like this, without expectation, something shifts inside you. You remember that you matter, that your presence makes a difference, that you're not invisible and never were. And that energy, that feeling of being connected to something beyond yourself, that's the kind of fuel that doesn't fade easily. It keeps the fire going, even on the hard days. I met a man once, 92 years old, who spent every Thursday reading aloud at a local preschool. He'd bring a little stack of books, his cane, and a sparkle in his eyes. The kids called him Grandpa, Joe, and they'd gather around like he was telling them the greatest story ever told. I asked him once why he did it, and he said, "Because they remind me I still have something to give, and that keeps me young." That right there is the spark. And if you're thinking, "Well, I don't know what I have to offer anymore," let me remind you, your life experience, your wisdom, your kindness, that's gold. There are people out there who need exactly what you have to offer, whether it's a listening ear, a calming presence, or a simple smile. You never know whose life you could be lifting just by showing up. You see, the secret to staying joyful, energetic, and inspired isn't about denying the reality of aging. It's about choosing how you walk through it. It's about saying, "Yes, things have changed, but I still get to decide who I am." And when you build your days around purpose, kindness, connection, movement, and curiosity, you create a life that feels full. Not just long, but full, deep, rich. And sure, there will still be aches, there will still be losses. But when your days are rooted in things that lift your spirit, you'll find yourself bouncing back faster, laughing more, worrying less, and realizing that your best years aren't behind you. They're happening right now, in this moment. In every breath, you choose to live fully. If there's one thing I hope you take away from this, it's this. Your spark is still there. It's not gone. It might just be hiding under a bit of dust, waiting for you to dust it off and give it some air. You don't have to overhaul your entire life. Just take one step. One small action that honors the light inside you. Whether it's calling an old friend, walking to the park, or writing down 3 things you're grateful for tonight. Those little choices add up. And before you know it, you'll feel it. That familiar fire. That quiet joy. That deep knowing that you're still here, still growing, still becoming. You've made it through so much already. You've earned every wrinkle, every laugh line, every moment of peace. So don't let anyone, including yourself, convince you that your story is winding down. Because for those who choose it, the most meaningful chapters often come later in the book. You still have love to give, joy to feel, adventures to discover, and yes, you still have your spark. Let it shine. And now that we've walked through these powerful habits, having something to look forward to, choosing uplifting relationships, moving with intention, speaking to yourself with kindness, staying curious, and giving with love, it all comes together in one simple but life-changing truth. You are not done yet, not even close. No matter your age, no matter what you've been through, you still have so much to offer this world. And more importantly, you still have so much joy to experience for yourself. That spark inside of you, it's real. It's not a fantasy. It's not something that belongs only to the young or the lucky or the extraordinary. It belongs to you. And you can keep it glowing for as long as you choose to tend to it. That glow doesn't come from fancy supplements or perfect routines. It comes from living with intention. From waking up and saying, today I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to find joy where I can. I'm going to move, connect, and keep learning. It comes from reminding yourself that your days still matter, that you are still becoming, still transforming. And it doesn't matter if you start small. In fact, that's the best place to start. Go outside and feel the breeze on your skin. Reach out to someone you haven't talked to in a while. Try a new recipe. Sit in the sun and just be. These aren't small things. They're sacred. They're the pieces that make life beautiful again. Because aging isn't the end of the story. It's a powerful new chapter, one filled with depth, insight, resilience, and a kind of joy that only comes from living fully and authentically. So if you've been feeling stuck lately, if you've been tired or down or wondering where your spark has gone, I hope this message reaches you at just the right time. I hope it reminds you that joy is still yours to claim, that you can still laugh until your belly hurts, love until your heart is full, and wake up excited for the day ahead. And if you've already been living like this, if you're someone who has kept that fire burning, don't underestimate your power. You are a light for others. You are proof that it's possible. So keep shining. The world needs more of that. Before you go, I'd love to hear from you. What's something you do to stay energized or inspired? What brings you joy these days? Let's share in the comments, because you never know who might read your words and feel that same spark begin to glow inside them. And if this video spoke to you, if you felt encouraged or reminded of your own strength, go ahead and hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow and reach more amazing people just like you. Make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a video that's made to help you live fully, stay healthy, and feel your best. At every stage of life, thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up, for yourself and for others. It's never too late to fall in love with life again. You've got so much left to see, feel, and share. So here's to staying curious, to walking with purpose, to smiling more and worrying less. Here's to dancing in the kitchen, laughing out loud, and choosing joy, even on the hard days. Here's to living your best life at any age, and to never ever losing your spark. You've got this.